So this lesson is on graphing exponential functions. And an exponential function is just a function whose equation is in the form of y equals a to the x. There's basically an exponent there. Normally you guys graph lines, y equals mx plus b, but if you want to graph exponentials, then it's going to be y equals a to the exponent of an x. So what we need to do is we need to graph the following functions by hand using a table of values, and we're going to be able to verify the graphs by using the calculator. We'll do everything by hand first, but then I'll pull up the graphing calculator later. So all you need to do is every time you see an x value, 0, 1, 2, -1, -2, you're just going to plug it into the equation of y equals 3 to the 0, or y equals 3 to the 1, or what's 3 to the 2, what's 3 to the -1, what's 3 to the -2. And you should be fine here. Anything to the 0 power you should know is 1. 3 to the first power is 3. 3 to the second power is 9. 3 to the -1 is 1/3, 1 over 3. Don't forget your exponents rules. And then 3 to the -2 is 1/9. Pretty tricky to graph 1/3 and 1/9, but as you realize, the graph is never going to hit 0. There's no way that you can divide by 3 and divide by 3 and divide by 3 and ever get to something that's 0 or even negative for that matter. So what we are going to do here in terms of our values is we're going to try to plot this as best as we can. We know that in the xy chart, when x is 0, y is 1. When x was 1, y is 3. When x is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When x is -1, y is 1/3. You're going to kind of have to eyeball that. When x is -2, y is -1/9. But just understand that your graph will never cross over that x-axis, because we'll never have any y values that are in the negative range. So that's what your graph looks like. Exponentials go on forever. That's why there's arrows, just like lines on either end. If we take a look at this one, 1/3 to the power of x, then you're basically, again, you're plugging in what's 1/3 to the -2 power. Well, that just really means it's 3 over 1 squared, and that answer is just 9. And then what's 1/3 to the -1? Well, that's just 3 over 1. Flip it around, change out your exponent to the positive one, and it's 3. Anything to the 0 power you know is just 1. 1/3 to the first is just 1/3. 1/3 to the second is just 1/9. And then when you graph these, it's the same looking graph, but you're going the opposite direction. So -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -2, 9, -1, 3, 0, 1, 1/3, and then 2, 1/9. Again, do not cross over that x-axis because you're not going to drop down into the negative values. Next one, what happens when you've got 3 to the power of x minus 5? Well, then you just do 3 to the 0 minus 5, 1 minus 5, -4. 3 to the 1 minus 5 is 3 minus 5, or in this case, -2. 3 squared minus 5, 9 minus 5, 4. So now you need to plot these values. Here you've got 0 down through -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the only reason why we're dropping down below the y-axis now is because after we did our exponent, we subtracted by 5. So that's why you're dropping down here. 1 to the -2, and then 0 to, did I just do that one? I did. 2 to the 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there will be a point where this thing levels off, and we'll have to use the graphing calculator for that. So I'm actually going to show you the graphing calculator right now. If I want to go into my graphing calculator and I want to plug in this exponential function, I would go to my y equals. On the top left, very top of your calculator, you see the y equals button. I want to type in 3. When I raise something to the power of x, I need to use this caret, which is underneath the clear button on the right of your calculator above the division sign. And that's the power, and I've got the power of x. So in this case, if I want to do the power of x, I can look also where I see next to the alpha button. To the right of it, you see x, comma, t, comma, it's a theta sign, comma, n. That's your variable x. And then I'm going to minus 5. When I go to what's called the table of values, I should be able to match up some of these values. So I'm going to slide this over a little bit. I'm going to go to table of values, which is above the word graph. and I'm going to go second table. And I'm going to see those first three numbers. There's my 0, -4. There's my 1, -2. There's my 2, 4. And then the numbers get really, really big. But the numbers, if I start moving up, get really, really, really small. As I keep going up, I notice that at some point they hit -5 for my y value, and they never end. So that means I must not drop below -5. Let's look at the graph of this and see if that makes sense too. If you type the word graph on the top underneath the yellow word table, if you hit graph, you kind of flatline and then you shoot up. And that flat line, if you can count, it's hard to do that, but the flat line is down really at -5 on the y-axis. So now we kind of know where to end this graph. So we're sort of got a flat line down here by -5, and then we're going to shoot up. Take a look at number 4. I think actually, I believe that was the homework for the night. So, wait, let me pause this for 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So yes, these 4 problems are going to be the homework problems. All right, so now you should be good for the homework. But again, feel free to use the graphing calculator. One more time just to show you very quickly, if you want to type something in, let's do number 5 real fast. To type in number 5, I'm going to clear this out. It's going to be y equals to the exponent of x plus 3. Now, x plus 3 is in the exponent. So here you have to be careful. You'll do 2, and then when you use your caret, you're going to have to put parentheses. I think it's x plus 1, not x plus 3. Use parentheses of x plus 1. And that's going to be the graph that you want to be able to use. We'll take a quick look at that. Flat line, shoot up. All right, so these 4 problems are for you. Good luck.